Well, I guess it begins, eh? Off we go to Spain. I'll see you all there in a while. Welcome to Seville in sunny Spain. We have come here for me to complete a journey of making a dagger out of rock crystal. This is where it was discovered between 2007 and 2009, and it was over 5,000 years old. So let me tell you the story. So I'm standing on what's known as a dolmen, which is a large burial chamber, and it was aligned to the rising sun. We're in the Stone Age, around fires, using flint tools, and we're putting rocks into fire, and the new journey begins. And it doesn't start as a small thing. As soon as they become aware that by putting a rock into a fire you can get metal from it, such as copper. In fact, every metal comes out of a stone. By burning the stone, you reduce it down. And the Calcolithic period began. Well, that did take off. And right across this region, there are thousands of sites which we have evidence of them making copper tools. God, I know I'm in southern Spain, but it's freezing. So what I need you to imagine is a huge processionary chamber lined with huge slate pillars. And this leads right up to these circular burial chambers at the end here. I don't know if you can get the length of that. Now, this isn't a fresh archaeological dig, so as you can see, it's in a pretty poor state, but it's not that difficult to imagine when you think about it. And then within that, what you've got is you've got the remains of over 25 humans. One funny thing to note is that during the Roman occupation, they actually built a wall which went right through it. Little did they know the secrets that laid below the surface. Even some of these rocks that are laying here, right like this, may be the remains of the actual ones that were used. Anyway, in this particular circumstance, I want to think beyond the crystal dagger just for a minute, because most of the bodies in this place were female, and there was well, let's go with the word chief. There was one chief in here as well, and it's been noted that most of them were covered in the ore, the red pigment of the Cinnabar. What they didn't know is it had mercury in it. So it's now concluded that they died of Cinnabar poisoning. So the question is did they drink it, or were they wearing it as like a funerary sort of decoration? Which leads us on to a hugely important element, which I've discovered by looking into this. Now, beads are something which I know quite a lot about, and it takes anywhere between half an hour, even right up to an hour and a half, to make a single bead using Stone Age tools and skills. Now, they were making clothing out of beads, right, which were present here. We're going to go and see them, and well, that's the plan anyway, out of amber, greenstone and other materials which I'm yet to find out about. And there was tens of thousands of beads. When I say tens of thousands, the quote I've heard is over a staggering million beads. If you think about that just for a moment, it blows your mind. Maybe just a little bit of trimming at the back here. So, getting back to the crystal dagger. I know it ended up here, but it most certainly didn't come from here. There's no crystal was in this region. It would have come from many miles. And what's more, it's an unusual material to think of when it comes down to making stone tools. Not only is it unusual, but it's incredibly hard to work, which I think I've proved. All of the arrowheads and that dagger, they're unique to this place. So we're going to move on to the museum, and we're going to see what we can find in there. That is a piece of mammoth tusk. Voila! Welcome to the Museum of Archaeology. However, it's temporarily closed for the next 3 years. So let's go to the Museum of Valencia. I've just arrived at the Museum of Valencia, and that's as close as I'm going to get to the actual dagger. However, we have a museum to look around, and that will help to portray some of the Calcolithic period that I was talking about. So I'll show you things of interest that we've got in here. Okay, by anybody's stretch of the imagination, they are some pretty impressive copper axes. They were probably made in pecked out stones as moulds, and this just represents the skills that they had actually obtained. And down here you can see some of the malachite that they're getting that from. And interestingly enough, look, a crucible for handling the hot metal. And so when you look at what stone axes they were managing to make, you can really see that they did better when they had copper. So it's interesting, isn't it? I knew I was coming a long, long way, right? And I want to cover this because I think it's really important, right? The biggest part of me knew that I wasn't going to see the dagger because the other museum is the archaeological museum has been shut for some time for restoration. But it was really important to me to come to this land, see where that come from, collect some data for myself, and I feel like I've done that, even by coming in here, seeing them copper axes, seeing what these people from this land were challenged by. So that it's not a disappointment. And it also falls into, what it really falls into is having, you know, having to get up and go and do what you're called to do. And sometimes they seem like big footsteps. Another day, another way, but it has helped me by coming here. And it's an adventure. So what we're going to do to make this, what we're going to do to complete this little journey is we're going to go into a dolmen chamber that's accessible and open to the public, and we can kind of feel the vibe in there. It's about 4 foot high, no, maybe 4.5 foot high, so I'm crouching to come through here. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thanks for watching this programme. I hope it's been an enjoyable journey for you. It's certainly been a pilgrimage and a mission for me, and now maybe I can move on to the next thing. Don't forget who you've been watching. You've been watching Will Lord, and all your likes, shares and so forth are really important to me, and they support me through ads. And also, if you chose to, what you could do is you could support me a little bit further on a GoFundMe link that I'm going to put into the bottom of the description, and that helps to give me a few air miles. So cheers guys, hope you've learnt something.